Hey, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for spending some time. I know you're busy out there. Really appreciate it. Also, thanks to all of you who liked, commented, subscribed because of the last couple of videos. I've been wanting to do this channel for a long time. Started a couple months ago, got a few videos, then life happened, and I'm ready to dive back in. So I appreciate the momentum. Makes me want to create more videos. Let's dive in. One of the things I've been fascinated about with this whole Caitlin Clark thing is this really weird dynamic we're seeing in terms of fans and the current growth of the WNBA and all the eyes that are on it and so forth because of Caitlin Clark. And it seems like there's just a lot of people who have been WNBA supporters or say they have, bandwagon jumpers. Everyone in sports knows about those that seem to like they constantly insulting new fans who are don't know what they're talking about, and they shouldn't comment on things because they haven't been supporters of the WNBA for 20 years. And you're seeing a little bit of it within the league too. Some of the comments about the play from the players and the coaches and so forth. And this video was just really strange to me. This is the coach of the Aces, Las Vegas Aces. And I just want to play this for you and I'll give you my thoughts on it. I'd love to hear what all of you think. So let's dig in real quick.
How great the league is from top to bottom. It's more than the Aces and the Liberty, and just the parity right now.
So just real quick, in case you couldn't hear that, because I know there's kind of an echo or understand it. This question has nothing to do with Caitlin Clark. He asked about the parity in the league because there's more talent around now. It's not just the Aces and the Liberty, although it seems that way. There's parity in the league. That's what he's asking about.
Well, I think there's a lot of good players in this league, and here's if you're just a recent follower of women's basketball.
Catch that tone? There's that tone about new fans.
This has been brewing for a while. Women's basketball, it's been like at this boiling point, building.
It hasn't been brewing. It hasn't been building. There's been no tipping point. We'll get to that in a minute.
Building. And, our arena was sold out long before Caitlin was coming into the league. So I think women's basketball has just been on building. Now,
Hey, interesting comment on that attendance thing. Setting aside the ticket prices for the WNBA and the NBA there. But it is interesting how certain areas do embrace certain sports. I coached girls soccer for a long time. The Portland Thorns, a female team in the NWSL, they have had great attendance for pretty much their entire existence. Even when the NWSL was shaky as to whether it was going to survive as a league. 20, I think it was almost like there'd be, I think, 10 teams and, you know, 25, 30, 40% of the league attendance would be the Portland Thorns. They'd average 5, 6,000 a game, and then like the next team below them would be like 1,100. It was really kind of fascinating. So it doesn't necessarily speak to the viability of the league.
part of the tipping point, right? She's coming in at this time where it was ready to tip over, and her presence has tipped some things over. But there's been a lot of good work going on behind the scenes to get us to this point by a lot of other people. And I think Caitlin is very gracious in mentioning those names too, and understanding the women that came before her.
She's a lot more gracious than you are being. There was no tipping point about to happen, and she happened to be enjoying the benefits of it.
To pave the way for this tipping point and this kind of great time to be a women's basketball player. But it's a great time because the product is great. And it's been great, and it's been building, and now that we have more eyes on it, freaking great. I think
it's great because of Caitlin Clark. It hasn't been brewing. There hasn't been a tipping point that was happening. And I just want to go to that point real quick over here. We can check this out. Oh, wrong one. Here you go. Interest over time. The WNBA is blue. Caitlin Clark, as you can see, is red. Not a zip zilch, really, for the past 12 months. And this makes sense here for Caitlin Clark because college basketball season wasn't being played. This is right in the middle of the WNBA season. Here you go. WNBA still flatlining, even though we're getting into the NCAA stuff. Boom, boom, boom. And look at this. Even when we take away Caitlin Clark, you can see the interest in the WNBA has skyrocketed, skyrocketed since April. I'm sure that's just a coincidence. Oh, wait, look at the numbers on Caitlin Clark. Not a coincidence at all. And I don't understand this like not wanting to embrace what Caitlin Clark is doing for the WNBA, the opportunity that it's given. And I get there have been a lot of great players who work really hard at what they do and they're the best in the world at it, but they weren't necessarily getting the recognition because people weren't tuning in. But look, you know how many sports are out there and we don't ever even talk about, never even think about, and those athletes work extremely hard too. And there, there's a difference between being a hardworking athlete and a sport that the people want to watch. I think we've all watched Olympic sports that we watch every 4 years that we don't even think about in between the Olympics. And that's a shame for the athletes, but that is the way it is. There are certain sports people love to watch and sports that they don't. But to deny that the WNBA, a league that has been losing money every year for almost 3 decades for its entire existence, is not the beneficiary of Caitlin Clark coming in is ridiculous, and it needs to be embraced if the WNBA wants to cash in on this and keep it going long term. Okay, so I had one other video I wanted to share real quick. I think talks about it here. Listen to these numbers.
What I'm about to tell y'all, I haven't heard before, so I doubt you have either. Before the 2023 season, the WNBA had grown by 40% viewership from 2022 to 2023. But with Caitlin Clark's arrival, it's grown by 400% viewership. What that means is if the WNBA were continue to grow at the rate it grew from 22 to 23, it would take until 2028 to do what Caitlin Clark did this year. Okay, now let's not talk viewership, let's talk ticket sales. Bear with me. Ticket sales grew in 2023 by 16% from 2022. Ticket sales have grown by 93% in 2024. What that means is without Caitlin Clark, the WNBA would have taken till 2029 or 2030 to get to where Caitlin Clark has gotten them today. Okay, we've talked ticket sales and we've talked viewership. Now let's talk about regular season viewership, not draft viewership. Regular season viewership, it grew by 20% in 2023. It's grown by 180% now, which means it would take another 5 or 6 years to do what Caitlin Clark has done. So between draft day viewership, which is up 400% to 40%, between ticket sales, which is up 93% to 16%, between regular game viewership, which is up 180% to 20%, what Caitlin Clark has done is grown the WNBA exponentially.
Those numbers are crazy. To anyone saying this isn't Caitlin Clark, like the coach of the Aces was just saying, oh, we've been building, building, building. It's a tipping point. And almost make it sound like Caitlin Clark is the beneficiary. She came in at the right time. This was going to happen anyway, is insane. And I'm going to use one more thing if I can find it. I have so many tabs open. One more thing if I can find it to make my point. Yeah, this is it. Check this out. This was the Sparks' third game of the season. This was the Fever's first win. And you can see that a huge crowd. Now, obviously, the Laker tickets were more expensive. I think that's also their capacity. They could have sold more tickets. But here's the thing that I want to mention, and I don't know, I don't think I have this set up, but I did see it. That's game 3 for the Sparks. They were playing Caitlin Clark and the Fever. Their 2 home games previous to that, the Sparks had 7,400 fans in attendance total. Total. Okay, so you're talking about 3,700 per game compared to 19,100 plus. So I'm going to leave it there. I've been rattling on for a bit. I appreciate you tuning in. Please comment below. I am fascinated to have a good conversation, staying away from the cesspool of other social media, a good conversation as to why there seems to be this weird dynamic, this weird battle going on with the rising popularity of the WNBA because of Caitlin Clark and this idea that like a lot of people seem because I've seen a lot of tweets. They actually say this. They're insulting what they call new fans, and those fans shouldn't be talking, and they should shut up because they haven't been here all this time. They might be lifelong basketball fans and new to the WNBA because of Caitlin Clark, but they should still shut up. And so I'd be fascinated to hear your comments below what you think the reason for that is. Good, bad, and the ugly. Let's keep it civil. I'm always up for a good debate, but we get enough of the nonsense and the hate everywhere else. We don't need it here. So please, if you like this video, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I will talk to you later.